Fantastic. Well, we're all here in quiet expectation for the celebration of marriage between Tom and Samantha.
Thinking of words to describe Samantha, alliteration of the letter C is a common theme. There seems to be no end of other words that can be used to describe her. She's caring and compassionate, she's charming and charismatic, and I don't think she's ever met many people that have not come away from her without a smile on their faces. She's courageous and has no end of creativeness. She's cunning and she's clever, and she's always correct. She's clearly in charge. She's classy and she's captivating. But today there are some other words that I do need to use, and they are beautiful and quite frankly stunning. I will always be in love with Samantha and cherish every moment that we spend together, and every morning I wake up with her by my side.
Spring of 1985, Julie and I decided we'd go down to Wales for a weekend. And we booked what we thought at the time was going to be the best accommodation anywhere down there. Everybody raved about it. It was the Fort at Littlehaven. So we packed our stuff, we drove down there, we got there about 7:30 in the evening, a cold, wet Easter night. And we checked in, and we found that we were being checked in by the Munster family. I don't know whether any of you know who they are, but it was a pretty scary experience. We were taken to our room, which was freezing and damp and windy and horrible. We went to bed in our clothes, and we literally stayed in our clothes all night. Next morning we thought, what can we do? We can't stay here for 3 or 4 days, it's horrible. So let's make an excuse. We phoned our family, there's a crisis, we've got to go. We were too young and daft to be sensible enough to just say, your hotel's cold, it's horrible, we want our money back and we're going. We didn't do that, we pretended we had the problem.
I, Thomas, take you, Samantha Celia,
I, Thomas, take you, Samantha Celia,
to be my wife,
to be my wife,
to have and to hold,
to have and to hold,
from this day forward,
from this day forward,
for better, for worse,
for better, for worse,
for richer, for poorer,
for richer, for poorer,
in sickness and in health,
in sickness and in health,
to love and to cherish,
to love and to cherish,
till death us do part,
till death us do part,
according to God's holy law,
according to God's holy law,
in the presence of God,
in the presence of God,
I make this vow.
I make this vow.
If you let go of your hand, then you're going to offer your hand again. I, Samantha Celia, take you, Thomas,
I, Samantha Celia, take you, Thomas,
to be my husband,
to be my husband,
to have and to hold,
to have and to hold,
from this day forward,
from this day forward,
for better, for worse,
for better, for worse,
for richer, for poorer,
for richer, for poorer,
in sickness and in health,
in sickness and in health,
to love and to cherish,
to love and to cherish,
till death us do part,
till death do us part,
according to God's holy law,
according to God's holy law,
in the presence of God,
in the presence of God,
I make this vow.
I make this vow.
But actually your love is not something to be celebrated just today, it's something to be celebrated each and every day. Should we be upstanding for our bride?
So we've had 35 fantastic years with Samantha, who's been our best friend. She's been everything to us. We drove about half a mile down the road and we found a sign, B&B vacancies. We knocked on the door and a lovely woman answered the door, Mrs. O'Neill. So Mrs. O'Neill opens the door. What can I do for you? I said, you've got vacancies. So she said, I might have. So we said, we're looking for a room for the night. Well, you've left it a bit late. I said, in a Welsh accent, she said, I'm not going to try it. So she said, you've just come down there like that, you've driven all this way down here and you haven't got anywhere to stay. I said, well, we were going to be at the Fort. So why aren't you at the Fort? So we told her what was wrong and she said, come in and I'll interview you. And she sat us down and she interviewed us to see if we were good enough to stay in her B&B. But she said to me, or to us, you are married, aren't you? We said, yes. She said, where are the kids? I said, we don't have any kids. She said, how long have you been married? So I said, 5 years. She said, oh dear.
Thomas, will you take Samantha Celia to be your wife? Will you love her, comfort her, honour and protect her, and forsaking all others, be faithful to her as long as you both shall live?
I will.
Samantha Celia, will you take Thomas to be your husband? Will you love him, comfort him, honour and protect him, and forsaking all others, be faithful to him as long as you both shall live?
I will.
One thing Tom has always been is kind and thoughtful. And all jokes aside, this is the side of Tom I like best. And it's the reason why I'm proud to be stood here today as his best man. He goes out of his way to help others, and I expect there are many of you here today who have experienced this.
He's proven himself to be the worthy son-in-law.
Sam, I'd just like to say that you could have not made a better choice of man to marry.
We went out for a meal that evening, and when we come back, Mrs. O'Neill was waiting for us, and she opened the door. House was warm, lovely. She said, I've made the bed and it's special. I said, that's good. She said, you won't have to keep your clothes on. I said, oh, that's fantastic. So she said, are you going up now? I said, yeah. She said, do you want a stiff drink? I said, no, thanks, no, we'll be fine, thank you. So off we went upstairs, opened the bedroom door, dimly lit, candlewick bedspread, peeled back, flour on the pillow. Next morning, we come down to breakfast. She said, God, that bed's, the springs are so noisy. We had a diet of embarrassment. She said, I hope it did the trick.
Okay, so we've heard from all the men who have had a really important role in today, and I just wanted to say it's amazing to see all of our closest friends and family. That's all we ever wanted with us on our wedding. You're our nearest and dearest. We love you lots, and it's so nice to see you off a tiny screen on my iPhone or something else, or down the telephone. And we expect some shuffle boogieing going on the dance floor later. So cheers, everyone. Cheers.
8.5 months later, on the 4th of December 1985, Julie and I snuggled up in bed. Julie said to me, I think we need to go to the hospital. She was 2 weeks away from having a baby, I thought. It was a tough night, I have to tell you. I was exhausted. 12.5 hours of labour I went through. It was agony at times. We got the great news, the baby's been born. I went down the other end, there's the baby. So I'm looking, I said, Julie, we got Martin. So the nurse looked at me, she said, really? I said, yeah, Martin. She said, that's the umbilical cord. We got Samantha.
Samantha, I give you this ring
Samantha, I give you this ring
as a sign of our marriage.
as a sign of our marriage.
With my body, I honour you.
With my body, I honour you.
All that I am, I give to you.
All that I am, I give to you.
All that I have, I share with you.
All that I have, I share with you.
Within the love of God,
Within the love of God,
Father, Son, and Holy Spirit.
Father, Son, and Holy Spirit.
Thomas, I receive this ring
Thomas, I receive this ring
as a sign of our marriage.
as a sign of our marriage.
With my body, I honour you.
With my body, I honour you.
All that I am, I give to you.
All that I am, I give to you.
All that I have, I share with you.
All that I have, I share with you.
Within the love of God,
Within the love of God,
Father, Son, and Holy Spirit.
Father, Son, and Holy Spirit.
In the presence of God and before this congregation, Tom and Samantha have given their consent and made their marriage vows to each other. They've declared their marriage by the joining of hands and by the giving and receiving of rings. I therefore proclaim them husband and wife.
Next thing I know, they're going out together. They've been going out together for probably too long, 12 years, 10 years, but on and off a bit, you know, at the beginning, like friends, etc. But anyway.
I had butterflies in my stomach about where this new adventure together was going to lead. Since then, I've grown fonder and fonder and more in love with Samantha every day. We have spent countless adventures together since, from amazing holidays to simple days out in the countryside.
It's my very great pleasure to introduce to you the new Mr. and Mrs. Rigdon.
Seeing her walk up the aisle today to marry me made me realise that I am the luckiest man, and I still don't know what I've done to deserve her.